Iran has interests far beyond its borders, and we are enemy number one. They've tried to assassinate our president 2 or 3 times, and they've threatened to kill our president in the last 3 weeks 5 times. Does that tick anybody off?
Well, perhaps it would if people actually knew that it was true. People have been saying this from the Butler shooting to the incident a few weeks after that when Trump was on the golf course. None of these have been verified as to being tied to Iran. But people like Mark Levin just think that we should just believe whatever they say. And they establish a foundation. Like, it's like you establish a shaky foundation and then want to prove your argument based on that shaky foundation that you haven't even proved. But this is what they do. They want to, hey, this is what, we're just going to keep repeating this until people accept this. So then once people accept this, then we can have the argument based on something that may not even be true in the first place, but it doesn't matter to them because they're just trying to push their agenda. But let's continue.
Does that tick us off? It ticks me off. No regime should be able to threaten our president and still exist. The idea that if they kill our president, we will wipe them off the map, excuse me. They don't get to kill our president. That regime needs to be wiped off the map now. That's right, I said it. The head of the snake needs to be destroyed. With all our muscle power and so forth. The pyramid, not the edges of the pyramid, not even the center of the pyramid, the top of the pyramid. Khomeini, his family, and that inner circle needs to be taken out by our armed forces. It's not an easy task. In addition, they still have ballistic missiles, maybe 1,000, to hit us, to hit the Israelis, and so forth and so on, which is why.
You see how you just tried to throw that in there to hit us, to hit the Israelis, try to throw that in there. Bro, we know what this is about. This has absolutely nothing to do with the threat to America. This has absolutely nothing to do with that. He's got a picture of Abraham Lincoln in the back of him. Perhaps we should tap into the logic of what would Abe do in this situation. Would Abe want us getting involved in foreign affairs like with Israel, to where now, because we're supporting Israel and all the things that they're doing throughout that region, now we've just created all these enemies? Perhaps this is why a lot of our founding fathers did not want us getting involved in all of these foreign affairs. But Mark Levin, he does not care. Because why? Because he has a loyalty to Israel that goes, I would say, above and beyond his loyalty to America. But he can tell you that doesn't even matter. But just based on what he's saying and what he's presenting, let's not just accept what he's saying and then build the conversation off of that. We got to call BS on everything that he said thus far.
Israel needed time to have defensive missile systems in place. Why we needed time to have our defensive missiles in place, to have our offensive activity ready and our defensive activity ready. And I believe the President of the United States, he'll have a number of decisions to make. He will make the right decision. This regime needs to be taken out. Those people live in basically what is a concentration camp. Tens of millions of them who want to be free, who want to work with the United States of America and the rest of the free world, who are being slaughtered in the most horrific ways, particularly the women, particularly teenagers. It just goes on.
Is he talking about Palestinians, or is he talking about Iranians? Or is he talking about both, maybe? But this is just like how you stand on this moral high ground when it comes to what the Iranian government is allegedly doing to the Iranian citizens, while you are actively cheerleading a genocide going on between Israel and Palestine after you already ethnically cleansed them off of their land. You're now participating in a genocide. You're demolishing all of their homes. You've destroyed their entire country. But now he wants to stand on this moral high ground and criticize the Iranian government, talking about their treatment. They live in concentration camps. Bro, how many people said that the Palestinians were living in open air prisons? That wasn't, those weren't made in reference to anything that Israelis were experiencing. That was based on what Palestinians were experiencing. Remember when Ta-Nehisi Coates went over there, came back, wrote a book, did research, right? Came back and wrote a book. And DeCopel, the new Barry Weiss's new news anchor, just by him giving this quote unquote, I guess it was one-sided. If you're the mayor of Miami, you would say it was one-sided. I don't know, I'm throwing a whole bunch of things out there, but whether it was Ta-Nehisi Coates' book that allegedly would be found in a radicalist backpack, or the mayor of Miami saying that, hey, you can't, we're going to kick your theater out of here because you played a documentary that covers the atrocities that are committed against the Palestinian people and their homes being destroyed. But because that's one-sided, we're going to get you out of there. This is the mindset. This is the mindset of a lot of people who think like him. It's a cultural issue. It's the mind, like, oh, let's keep going.
On and on. And this regime will not go away unless we make it go away with their 10,000-mile ICBM and nuclear warheads in the future. It's weaker now than it's ever been. This is a very difficult task, but a task it is. And I am certain the President of the United States will do what he said. And I'm certain he's the only one who can do what he said. This is righteous, complicated, daunting, necessary, compelled, and righteous.
Mark Levin is telling us what righteous is. Because there is a right and wrong with all this, right? Right is whatever is pro-Israel. Whatever Mark Levin tells us, that's what's right. What's wrong, anything not aligned with what Mark Levin wants to push in his agenda. Anything against the neoconservative agenda, that's not right. Even if, oh, well, we're allowed to do this to those group of people, but, you know, that group of people is not allowed to do it to that group of people. And this is like a brainwashing that it's almost as if you've told these lies so much that you actually forget that you're lying to people and you start believing in them. That's what I hear when I hear Mark Levin talk. It's like, bro, you realize that, like, nobody actually believes what you're saying. And this is why they have to become even more radical than they've been in the past, because they know that they're losing a lot of the support. People are not looking the other way. People are not allowing you to just bully them. And what does he resort to? The same thing. He starts yelling through the microphone as if that's going to shake things up. Like, Mark Levin, why don't you go over there? You go address certain things in that. And that's your ally. That's your ally, not America. This is what a lot of people are questioning right now. Why is that our greatest ally? Seems like it only gets us in a whole bunch of trouble. No different than if I was in school and my parents were saying, hey, every time you hang out with this kid, like, well, I had issues with this group and that group. Well, you only have issues with that particular person. What is that particular person doing to all these people to piss them off? Oh, we can't have that combo. I'll see you on the next video.